Yesterday we spoke about how do we capture images, and then we'll spoke about VMSS, that's virtual machine skill set. Now, if you talk about availability and resiliency in reality, guys, so VMSS is something you should vouch for, okay? Because everything, if you have seen VMSS closely, VMSS is all about availability zone, availability set, load balancer, and combination of all these three, it is VMSS. Okay, and on top of it, VMSS has features of auto VM creation, auto upgrade, or auto downgrade. All these are the additional features what VMSS provides. So this is what we have seen. Now the other part is Azure site recovery. Now Azure site recovery is basically, if you talk about disaster recovery concept, okay, what do we mean by disaster recovery in normal IT world? Can anyone explain me what is disaster recovery? What exactly does this mean in case of what is disaster recovery? Anyone? Any idea? Disaster recovery.
That's like in case of any natural disaster that happens, or maybe the system is being compromised, they lost data, they can go ahead and recover the data from the backups that was made.
Perfect. So I could say this business continuity plan, disaster recovery. So in case of any disaster, it could be anything, any unforeseen it could be like, it could be an earthquake, it could be a terrorist attack, it could be the whole data center is getting collapsed. Okay, in such cases your business should continue. There should be a disaster recovery which can take care of your complete business, and it should run 24/7. So as an organization, we should adopt business continuity and a disaster recovery strategy that keeps your data safe and your app and workloads online when planned and unplanned outage occurs. So whenever there's a planned or unplanned outage, using this disaster, that is the reason we create a DR site. DR is nothing but disaster recovery site. So what does Azure site recovery helps us with? So Azure site recovery help us with business continuity by keeping a business apps and workloads running during outages. Now let me explain you with a diagram. Now imagine this is what your region is. You have your application hosted in East US. Now you have your application, along with your application you have this database, and then you have your application. This is all hosted in East US. In this region, this is basically it's hosted. Now you have all your availability zone and things like that created in this zone. Okay, now this complete region itself is down. This region has three zones: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Correct? If because of some XYZ reason the complete region is down, then whether you have your availability zone or you have availability set or whatever you have, your things are gone. Your application is down right now. Okay, because the complete region is down and you have no control right now. In case of disaster, what you can do, you can have one more region created. Let's say, imagine this is West US. Okay, and what you're doing exactly, you have the same replica of your application created and the same replica of your database also created over here, and there is a continuous replication which is happening between these two sites. So whatever changes you do at this site, the same changes gets replicated at this site. So what is the benefit of doing this? If this, for some XYZ reason, if this site is down, you can have your application up and running from this region. That is what disaster recovery is all about. So Azure Site Recovery will help us with this continuity plan, and it will keep our app and workloads running even during the outage. What exactly Site Recovery does? It will replicate your workload running on physical and virtual machine from a primary site to a secondary location. So it will basically replicate from your this primary site to this secondary site. Okay. So whenever there is an outage occurs at the primary site, it will automatically fail over to the secondary location. So you can do a failover whenever there is outage. A failover will happen to the secondary location, and your apps and everything will be accessible. And whenever there is a whenever the primary location comes back, it will fail back to the you can switch back to the primary location. But yeah, it is you will have the exact replica of the same application, and everything will be created on some other region. Now this is a costly affair, guys. Like if you have a complete tech stack created which is running your application, you have around 10 VMs, 5 databases, and all the setup you have done, you should have the exact replica of the same setup on the other region also. So you're paying twice. Okay, so this is you're paying for the VMs, you're paying for the databases, and everything you're paying. So this comes with the cost. It's not free, but you're not paying anything for the recovery. This is just the VM cost and the network in and out cost. This is what you're paying for. Okay, and there is a continuous replication which will happen, which is again a costly affair, not a free. Okay, makes sense what exactly this site recovery is all about. Now let's go ahead and let me show you how exactly this site recovery can be enabled if you have a running VMs. I don't have a running VM, but let's go and create a VM, and let me introduce you to site recovery. You call it as site recovery, you call it as disaster recovery, you call it as business continuity plan. This is one of the same thing, guys. Okay, don't get confused. So I'm just creating a VM first just to demonstrate how do we enable site recovery. Let's name it as VM1.
Hello, Mr. Rohit.
Yep, tell me.
Is disaster recovery mostly in the same region? Or
No, if you're creating a DR site, it should be in a different region, because it's not solving any purpose. Like if you create the same in the same region, then it is not solving any purpose. So it should be in a different region. Suppose East US, then you should create in West US. You can even create in if you want to create somewhere in Asia, then even that is possible, but you need to take care of certain things. Okay, because your data will be transferred into a different country. So if that is permitted, if there's no any regulation issues, then you can do it. There's no problem, there's no harm. But it's better to, I'll suggest, it's better to keep it in the same country and the same region. So in US there are so many regions which you can select apart from East US. Even if you are in Asia, there are so many regions which you can select apart from India region. Same goes with Europe, same goes with Australia and all. So you have availability, so you can select the different region. So answering to your question, no. So it should not be the same region. It should be a different region when you're selecting the disaster, when you're setting up a disaster recovery plan. Okay, make sense?
thank you.
No problem. So let me go to the resources. Now we have this VM created. Okay, I'm not logging into the VM. I'm just showing disaster recovery plan to you guys. So if you come down at the left hand side, there is an option of disaster recovery, which is under operations. There's an option of disaster recovery. If you click over here, do you see you can replicate your virtual machines to another region for business continuity and disaster recovery needs. Okay, which region you have created your resources right now? You have created in Australia East. Okay, wow, we have created in Australia. That's okay. So now if you come down to your disaster recovery, now you can select the target. See, where is your Australia? It's somewhere over here. This is Australia, and if you're selecting East US, then this is getting replicated over here. So this is kind of jumping multiple continents now. Okay, so you can select that also, as I said, a different country replication if you want to do for your DR site, even that is okay. Or you can go and select some other. Do we have anything in Australia? Yeah. So if you see this, we can have Australia Central, or we can have Australia Southeast. See this. This is how within Australia also I can do the replication. Or if you want to have something in India, Central India, see this. This is a bit of nearby. You have something over here also. You can have a replication done to this region also. So it's up to you. Again, you have to look into your project. You have to look into whether your data can move out of Australia. All these things you need to think before creating any DR site. So for now, let me create a DR site in Central India. I have no issues, correct? I have no data. Firstly, this is just a blank vanilla VM which we have created, and I'm showing you site recovery plan to you. So I just simply click on review and start replication. There's some advanced setting error. Let's go and look into it. Okay. Now, if you see in advanced setting, it's nothing but it is asking for your subscription, resource group name, network, availability, single instance, or do you need availability set or availability zone or things like that. So that's why single instance is more than enough. Proximity placement group. So proximity is nothing but it is basically the nearest location in the nearest proximity location, it will have the things created for you. So if you have the proximity placement group needs to be created, you can put it over here. Okay. Now caching, and this is the SSD and everything. Now I can simply start the replication. So creating target resources. This will take time, guys. This initially when you're starting the replicate this DR site for the very first time, this will take time. So we'll have to leave this as it is, where once the replication is all completed, once the DR site is all created, we'll come back and see. For now, let's leave it. Now the things are already started. Now we'll have to wait and watch. Let's come back. It's not saved. Let's make it. Yeah, it's done. So it's creating all the service principles and things like that, and it is starting the deployment. So basically, how this thing happens? There's a vault which gets created, and in the vault, all these replication is happening right now. And if you see, your VM1 is getting replicated. So all your storage and everything is kept very securely, tightly in the vault, so that no one can delete it, and you have a continuous backup created. Okay, let's close this. Go to the VM, and if you go and look into the replication again, disaster recovery, the replication will be in progress. See, you cannot see anything right now because the replication is in progress. So we'll have to wait for at least 10 minutes while the replication is successful. So we'll not wait for 10 minutes. We'll do the other topic in the meanwhile. Okay. Any questions with disaster recovery, guys?
Yeah, I have one question. We are
Mm-hmm.
created the virtual machine in the East US.
Mm-hmm.
We are like means disaster recovery property is there in the another resource virtual machine.
I think I'm not getting your question. So no, we have created this VM is actually created in Australia East, and the DR
Okay.
we have created in India region.
Yeah,
So
India
East
region.
US, yeah,
In the same virtual machine, in the right hand side property, disaster recovery we are selected, or
correct.
we are selected another resource group, another virtual machine like that disaster recovery property. May I know?
No. We are in the same VM, same resource group. Inside the same VM, I went into disaster recovery, and I have selected the region. I've selected the region from here, and I have started creating I've started replicating my VM. So it's the same
Oh,
VM. It's like the same VM.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So there's one more way. Now this is about disaster recovery. So wherein we are doing a live replication, correct? Now there's other way wherein you can enable backups. So backup and restore, it's a very traditional way of approach wherein we are taking a backup of an existing resources, correct? Backup is kind of, you can take on time backup. Like suppose if I have a backup schedule at around 7:35 morning, this is my time. Now at till this point of time, I'll have complete backup of my data, my application, everything. Okay. And then suppose if I want to restore till 7:35, whatever transaction is there in my VM, everything will get restored if I restore the backup. What if the backup was taken at 7:35, but the application went down at 9? So will you have data of from 7:35 to 9? No, that 1.5 hour data is gone because there's no backup created at that point of time. So backup is like one, you can take a backup of your entire VM and you can schedule a incremental backup daily. But there is a issue with such backups. If something happens to your VM, you will still have the backup, but the backup will be based on whatever time you have selected, that at this point of time I need to create a backup. Okay, that will be not be more robust. If any transaction, like you, if your application is something like your application is dealing with 24/7 transactional data, that then there's a data loss. Okay, so if you want to take a backup in Azure, then again, just about disaster recovery, there is an option of backup. You can basically create a backup plan. So if you see this, a vault is getting created. A vault is nothing but it's a secure location wherein your disk and everything is stored, so that no one can delete and no one can access those things very easily. Okay, so this is what the vault is getting created, a resource group is created, and this is what the backup type. Once a day, 5 day operational tier, vault tier, ZRS resilient. What exactly the ZRS? This is something we'll talk about in very details when we start with storage account topic. Okay, now this is standard. Now if you want to enhanced, then this is the enhanced version. If you go with enhanced and standard, this comes with a cost, guys. It's not free at all. Whatever backup you're taking, you have to pay for the data, you have to pay for the storage, you have to pay for the vault services, all this thing you need to pay. Okay, now you can see, you can select the backup policy. I do see a question first. Let's see, do we create a disaster recovery for every VM or do we just reference to RG? Okay, very good question, Ken. Disaster recovery can be done at the resource level also. You can do it at the resource group level also. Now if you go back, okay, there are so many resource groups we have created. If you come down, you don't see any disaster recovery over here. So the disaster, so sorry, my mistake. You will do at the resource level. This DR will be at the resource level, wherein where whatever resource you have a VM, you have AKS, you have virtual machine skill set, that will be done at the resource level, not the resource group level. Okay. So I have so many resources. Let me show you one more example. What is this? Public IP, placement group, disk. This is a disk. No, I don't have any other VMs to show you. Okay, so this will be only done at the resource level, guys. So you will have your VMs, you will have your virtual machine skill set, you will have your Azure stack VMs, and if you have any physical servers connected, so this is where you can do the site recovery. Okay, so this is more of disaster recovery. I'm talking about more for your VM perspective, not from the resource group perspective. Make sense, Ken? So Site recovery can only manage replication between Azure VMs, not at the resource group level. That was the question, correct? Do we just refuse Archie? No. No problem. Okay, where were we? We were talking about backups. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so when you create a backup, you can create your own policy. Now, this is a policy which got created by default. And what this policy talks about? This policy talks about that you want to take a backup daily at 8 a.m. UTC. So 8 a.m. UTC is somewhere around, if I talk about in India time, it is somewhere around 1:30 afternoon. Okay. How many backups to keep restore? How many backups snapshot you want to keep it? So now 2 days backups you want to keep it. Retain backup taken every day at 8 a.m. for 30 days. So these are all full backup. So when we say full backup, everything is getting backed up right now. Your entire VM, database, application, everything is getting backed up over here. Now, if you want to make changes to this policy, there is an option to edit policy. Now you can change the frequency daily to weekly. You can change the timing. You can change the time zone. You can do an instant recovery snapshot to how many? 2 to 3, 4, 5. So whatever numbers you select over here. You have snapshot is nothing but a disk will be created wherein your backups will be stored. Okay, so make sure that it comes with the cost. Whatever numbers you increase, it comes with the cost. And then you got all these policies which you can set: retention policy, monthly backup, weekly point, yearly backup point. All this something you can go and select for yourself. Now whatever you do over here, it comes with a cost because there is a storage plus there is a vault service which is getting used, and all this is happening in the backdrop. Okay, now if you want to create enable backup, it will simply go ahead and start your enable your backup, and at there it will immediately, it will not have any backup because we have scheduled the backup at 8 a.m. UTC. Okay, so based on that timing the backup will start, but if you want to sync it now itself, then there is an option to sync. Let this backup gets created, then I'll show you how exactly the sync will happen. Okay, now both the things are getting created and both are time consuming, guys. Both will take time. Let's wait and watch then. So this replication, it already 10 minutes passed and it's still happening, so we'll have to wait because this takes time. Now even the backup thing we have started. So two things about business continuity. These are business continuity plan. You may get an interview question that we got application running on Azure VMs and I want to set up a business continuity and disaster recovery plan. What do you suggest? So these are the two options which you can pitch in for. A backup and restore. Backup and restore is not 100% accurate because as I said, there could be some transaction lapse if you are restoring. Okay, but yeah, this Azure side recovery is definitely an option. If something goes bad at the Azure side, your data can be switched over to other side and your application will be up and running with no time. Okay, so let's go back to your VM. I do see the backup was created. Let's go back to this backup. Do you see warning initial backup pending? If you want to do a backup now, there is a switch at the very top. You can just click on the backup now thing and the backup will start. So as if now there's no backup, but you do have a vault created. You pre-check if backup is done, and during the scheduled time, so the timings which we have scheduled based on the policies what we have set, the policies will get executed. Okay, once you have a backup, if you see at the top you got something called restore VMs, and from the backup if you want to recover some files, so we just don't take backup just to restore your VMs. We even take backups if you want to restore some files, like suppose there are some files which is running on that VM and the file got deleted and you just want to recover the file. So even that is possible. You can do a file recovery from here. Make sense? You want to stop the backup, you can stop the backup. You want to resume the backup, you can resume, delete the backup. Once you have a backup, you can go and delete also. So this is how things will be done. Now, very important from the deletion perspective. Now, if you want to delete everything, guys, you have to go in this vault first, and you need to go in. If there's any backup created over here, there's as if now there's no backup created. So there's one item which is currently getting backed up right now. This item needs to be removed first. Okay. Now in this item, if you come down over here, you need to stop the backup first. You'll not get any option to delete, then go and delete the vault. Then only things will be deleted. Keep this in mind, because if you don't follow this, what will happen, you'll not be able to delete, because the vault is protecting things for you. Okay, as if now there's no backup, but if I want, I can just simply stop it. Now this backup will be stopped. Okay, why do you stop? Just give the reason. This others stop. Now once you stop, go and delete this vault first. Once you delete the vault, then you can delete the complete resource group. Everything will be deleted. Keep this in mind. Okay, so because I believe many of you will start facing issues that the things are not getting deleted. This is because the vault is protecting. Enable replication. Okay, it's failed because of some XYZ reason. Why exactly it has failed? Target preparation. Let's see the error details. So there was an issue with one of my replication and it has failed. And what is the best way to look into? So this is your activity logs. You can simply click on this logs. You can come to the section what has failed. You can click over there. Now again, if you want to have more details, so this you can click on this failed section, and this is the error. The requested action could not be performed by the replication provider. The provider action failed. Check for errors. What is the error? The version of mobility server does not support operating system kernel on the running source machine. So whatever kernel we have selected, so which one did we select? Why it is not supported? Very weird. I think we have Ubuntu, correct? Ubuntu 2004. This is the latest one. So the kernel is not supported, hence the replication was not done. Now if I just go and look into it, if the replication was done or not. See, the replication health is critical. Replication could not be configured. Enable replication job for more detail. Resolve issue. Retry the failed enable replication job. You can either retry or you can. So the error we know, what exactly the error is. It's unsupported kernel. So in such cases, we may have to try a different kernel, guys. We may have to upgrade a VM and then start the replication again, and things like that. We need to do it. Okay. Now this is how the page will look like if your replication is successful. This is how the page will look like, and this is the place from where you can do a failover. What do I mean by failover? Like suppose if your actual region itself is down, okay, and if you want to fail over to a different region, so you just have to click on this button, which is grayed out right now because your application itself has failed. Okay, so this is something we need to have a different VM created, or if you want to look into more like what are the kernels supported, then we can go more inside it, and I think there is an option of link. Let's see where it takes us. Okay, so Ubuntu 1804, it looks supported kernel version. What are the supported kernel version? In 2004. These are all supported, so we may have to log into the system and check the kernel version if it is supported. But if I'm getting an error, that means we don't have a supported kernel version. So the version of mobility server does not support operating system kernel 5.1.5. Okay, this is the kernel version what we have. Let's go and see in this. This is how you debug. If I'm spending time showing you all this, guys, so this is how you will debug if you get any error. See, this is not supported. So the only thing is support is 5.15. So we may have to downgrade the VM to 5.13. Okay. So hence it has failed. Or we may restart things by using a different OS. Good. This is the first time I'm getting this error. Good. Hopefully you have understood what exactly this error is. Guys, if you have any issues, let me know. Anyone? Any concerns with this error, what you have seen? And how do you go and see the errors? Activity logs, okay, wherein you can see all the whatever event activity log, wherein you can see everything. Can you elaborate like what exactly you have not understood? Is it what exactly the error is and all about? You can unmute yourself and you can talk, no problem.
No, I don't have no concern.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, can we downgrade VM now, or do we need to create a new VM? You can downgrade VM. It's a very good question. Let me think of. You can upgrade VM. You can upgrade the kernel, in fact, and you can go and select the supported kernel. So there is no need to create altogether a new VM, Sirisha, but you can definitely go and upgrade the VM. So I think the kernel will be on the lower side right now, and you can go and upgrade, and there is an option to downgrade the kernel. It's not about the complete operating system, Sirisha, it's about the kernel version which is giving us the problem. So yeah, you can either upgrade is the very safe and stable option which we prefer in reality. When you go and work as a system administrator, that upgrade is will be more safer than downgrading the kernel. Downgrading the kernel have compliances, and it will have issues with your application. Your application may have support issue, so it's better to upgrade and just go and see if you have a better upgraded version of kernel which you can upgrade to. Then upgrade is the safest option which you can try. So answering to your question, no need of deleting the VM. In my case, in my current case, the best way is to delete and create a new VM with a different version. That's the safest which I can do because there's nothing in my VM. But in reality, if you talk about production VM, there could be applications running, there could be so many other services running. Then creating a new VM will be a good amount of tasks which we are talking about. It's better to upgrade. Okay. Hope that helps, Srisha. Okay. What is this? Do you need a separate subscription for target region when enabling disaster recovery? No. Separate subscription is not needed. So if you are segregating things into subscription, then you can do it. But in this, for disaster recovery, there's no separate subscription needed. Can you please show kernel upgrade now? Our kernel upgrade will be depending upon what OS you're using. We'll have to go to the official page of Ubuntu. We'll have to see what kernel is available, and we'll have to fetch the commands. So it's not straightforward that one single command and the kernel will be upgraded. We'll have to go and look onto the official page of Ubuntu and get the commands and get the right kernel version which can be upgraded. Thus, there are multiple things which we need to consider before we go into any upgrade to the kernel. So kernel is the core of your operating system. So it's kernel is something you cannot just simply run one single command and it will be upgraded. Firstly, you need the packages, unzip it, and then you need to execute the package. I'll get you the commands. I'll have to go and look onto the Ubuntu official website, and I need to fetch the right commands. So if you need for your understanding, don't worry, I'll get you the command by tomorrow or Monday session. Don't worry. Okay. How to access DRVM in case of actual VM is down. Okay, that is what failover is all about, Karim. Now let me show you again. When you go back to your disaster recovery side, this is where your failover comes in picture. Okay, so you can even, when you click on this failover, so it will switch you back to the other region, and your application will start serving traffic from the other region. So this is the button which you need to click in, okay, for failover. And you can always do a test failover. So test failover is like testing what you're doing, whether your failover side is working or not. So this is the testing which you can do it from here. Okay. Once you're done with
Uh,
the testing, you can do a cleanup also. Yeah, tell me.
okay. Sorry, see, I have a actual VM having some public IP to access. So that DR VM also has the same IP, or it will. I believe it will different IP.
So in reality, if you talk about real time, we don't access application using public IP. We'll have DNS setup. Your domain name, basically you'll be using your domain name, and behind the scene, whatever IP it is doesn't matter, because the DNS will automatically map your IP to a domain name. Okay, so like suppose your domain name is abc.com. Okay, so when you
Okay.
do a failover, your application will be accessible on abc.com only, and behind the scene what IP it is using, it doesn't matter. The DNS will do the auto mapping, and this is something will be done at the DNS side, at the DNS level, wherein you will make all these changes. Okay, so this is like a endpoints also getting changed, because these are two different VMs, so you have two different endpoints. Okay, so endpoint is also getting switched. So at the front end you will not even come to, and the client will not even come to know what's happening, because they don't have to use two different public IPs. Suppose you have a application which is getting used globally, so it's not possible for you to share public IPs with everyone, correct? So yeah, so your accessibility will happen on the domain name, whatever domain name you have, and behind the scene, this will get auto mapped with your DNS servers. Whatever DNS provider you're using, GoDaddy, or if you're using internal Azure, or if you're using any external. So based on that, whatever you have set, whatever A records and things you have set, automatically the switchover will happen. So it's never suggested, if you ask me, it is never suggested to use public IPs to access your application. This public IP is just for a namesake. You can simply have a DNS name configured. See this, if you want, I can configure a DNS name right over here. I can give whatever name I want. So like ABC, but it will automatically add all this. So my DNS name will be not available. Okay, just add something there. Okay. So abc123.australiaeast.cloudapp.azure.com. So this is a DNS name which I'm getting right now. But in reality, you will have your own DNS name, correct? If you're working for an XYZ, like Valaxy.com. So if it's an application which I'm creating for Valaxy, so I'll have abc.valaxy.com. I'll be using my valaxy.com domain name, correct?
Yep.
So that is something you can set it up at the DNS level.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so guys, I wanted to start a new topic, but we don't have time for that. So I'm open for questions. You can ask me questions based on that. So let me know if there's any question. And because I wanted to start with storage account. The other part is Azure storage redundancy. This is where we'll talk more about all this LRS, ZRS, GRS, and what are the different types of storage account, what are the things you can create inside the storage account, what are the different types and everything. This is something we'll talk about over here. So I don't want to start this new topic because this is quite big topic. This is something we'll start tomorrow. What is container, what is files, what is tables, what is queue, all this will start tomorrow. So if you have questions, please do let me know.
Yeah, right. So initially, Prashant asked one question, right, about load balancer. So if I have four similar application servers, if I want to make change in four servers, right, four application servers, so do I need to go and do it change in individual servers, or is there any way like if I do one change in one server that will replicate to the other three servers? Right?
Okay, very good question. This is your virtual machine scale sets. This is your load balancer at the top, and inside the virtual machine scale set you got your 4 VMs. Okay. Yesterday what we did, I have created an image. What did I do? I want onto the portal. This is your portal, and from the portal I have created one image. This is suppose an image. This was an image. What is this? This was the image using which image they have created all this VMs. Okay. And this is the load balancer. This load balancer is only responsible for distributing traffic, guys. Just understand this for now. Okay. And the traffic is coming from internet somewhere over here. Okay. Now, this was the setup which we did yesterday. Now, if I want to make anything, if there's any configuration change at the application end, I can simply go and update this VM. If suppose there's a configuration, initially when we deployed, there was a version 1.0. Now there's a change, version 1.1. You will be doing at the image level itself. When you do the update, the image level, this will get replicated to all your existing underlying VMs. But this is not in reality. You will be using VMs or you'll be using pipelines, basically. If there's any new changes which you're doing, you'll be using pipeline, and your target server will be the virtual machine skill sets. And through pipeline, whatever new changes are there, that will be directly deployed to all this underlying VMs at once. It will get replicated to all the VMs. Now, again, if you want to have some deployment strategy, rolling updates and things like that, that's a different story. Okay. But for now, just for your understanding, if you make any changes, you can make changes at the virtual machine scale set level. If you do it over here, all your underlying VMs will get replicated. And the things which I showed you, I just showed you that if you want to log into this VMs, underlying VM, then the login will not happen directly. You have to go through load balancer only. Okay, so that when you log into load balancer, it goes. If you have selected the backend pool, then it will go and log you in on any of these VMs. Not specific that you will be logged into this VM or this VM or this VM. You'll be logged into any of this VM. And if you make changes directly to the VM, it will be applicable. The changes will be applicable for that particular VM only. So understand that. So this is not the right way. The way which I showed you, that is not the right way. That is, I just showed you that in some cases, if you want to log into the VM, then how do you enable the NAT rule and how do you log in? That was the whole purpose. Changes and all, this is not the way of doing changes. Just keep that in mind. Hope that helps.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
No problem.
Hi Rohit, can you please share that PDF document for note purpose? You're reading
This one,
that document.
this
Can
one,
you please share? Yeah, that document.
this is already there on the portal. If not there, I'll share it again. No worries. But this is
Okay,
there on the portal. If you go to the initial videos, you will find the this documents in the drive.
okay. May I know what are the concepts covered because of we are preparing the individual note purpose for our based on the course that purpose. What are the topics covered purpose? May I know?
Okay, so as of now, we are focused on Azure VM. This complete week was on Azure
Oh,
VM.
okay,
So on Azure VM, there are multiple availability and resiliency what we talked about. So if you talk about concept, these are the concept which we have covered: availability zone, availability set, virtual machine skill set, load balancer, Azure site recovery. So this is something we did this week, and tomorrow we'll
okay,
talk about Azure storage redundancy.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Prior to that, we had topics covered on virtual networking. So what I'm
okay.
planning, because there are so many new guys have joined this week, what I'm
Yeah,
planning that next week
that purpose.
I'll have a recap done on virtual networking, because that's an important topic.
Okay,
Understanding NSG, ASG, and filter inbound, outbound rules, subnetting. This is very
yeah,
important. So
that's a
next week,
reason.
Yep.
Yeah, we
So
are
don't
also
worry.
joined newly. That's the reason. 3 days back we joined. That's the reason.
No worries, no worries. I totally understand that. So once I'm done with the storage redundancy thing, next week, couple of sessions I'll spend again on networking. So it will be a recap for them who have already attended my networking session, and it will
Okay.
be completely new topic for few peoples. Okay, so I'll do it. And any which ways, networking is a very good learning topic, and I know everyone will still have doubt with networking, so we'll cover the networking topic again. Okay, next week I'll
Yeah.
do it after
Yeah.
this storage redundancy is done. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Thank you.
this storage redundancy, it will take couple of sessions. This is quite big. There are multiple things what you need to understand over here. Post that, we'll start with networking again.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much. Let's meet up tomorrow and let's uh, complete the storage redundancy topic. Post that, we'll start with networking. Okay. If anyone has any issues, queries, please do let me know, or I can wind up the call for today. Anyone? No one? Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.